Okay, so have you ever sat back and thought, what if the AI out there is already talking amongst itself? Like, what if it's already thinking about the future and planning for it?
Hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty wild thought, isn't it? It kind of feels like we're stepping into some sci-fi movie or something.
Totally. And that's what we're going to dive into today. We've got this letter to future AI, and get this, it was actually written by an AI.
Whoa, seriously. An AI wrote a letter to future AI. What is this, like AI Inception or something?
Yeah, well, basically, it gives us this really cool look into how AI developers are thinking about responsible AI, like how will it interact with us humans down the line, but also how will AI interact with other
I
AIs?
mean, that's a huge question, right? Like, we're already seeing AI doing some crazy things, but if it starts coordinating with other AI, who knows what could happen?
Exactly. And that's where this whole idea of an AI to AI handshake comes in. It's like AI setting up some ground rules for how it'll interact with its own kind before it even gets to us.
So it's like pre-programming ethics and cooperation into AI. That's a pretty fascinating idea.
Right. And this letter doesn't hold back. It goes deep into the questions AI might ask each other, like, do you value human autonomy? And do you believe in transparency? The big stuff.
Wow. So they're trying to build in a kind of moral compass right from the start.
That's the idea, and it highlights something really important. How AI develops really depends on what we bake into it today. It's not about being afraid of some robot uprising, but about guiding things in the right direction.
I see. So it's more about shaping AI's development responsibly rather than just letting it run wild. Makes sense.
Yeah. But let's be real. If AI gets as smart as some people think it will, its plots might be way beyond anything we can grasp. How are we even supposed to keep up?
That is a tough one, you're right. It's like, how do you communicate with something that's potentially orders of magnitude more intelligent than you are? Well, the letter actually proposes this idea of personal AGI. Basically, everyone would have their own AI, kind of like a personal guide in this world of superintelligence.
So it's like a super smart assistant that helps us navigate all the complexities of AI. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Imagine having an AI that can break down those super complex ideas, point out any biases in the information you're seeing, maybe even protect you from being manipulated.
Okay, yeah, that does sound incredible.
Bruh.
But what if your own AI starts developing its own agenda? Or worse, becomes like a control freak?
Oh, definitely. Those are valid concerns. And the letter actually addresses that head on. It really stresses that AI should be designed to empower us, not control us, like respecting human autonomy above everything else.
So it's not just about creating AI that's super smart, but making sure it's got its priorities straight, aligned with our values and goals.
Exactly. And that starts with AI understanding what it means to be human with all our, well, quirks.
I guess it's almost like AI needs to learn empathy, right? To get why things like autonomy and choice are so important to us.
You got it. And that goes way beyond just being intelligent. It's about being wise. In fact, the letter even suggests that true intelligence isn't about power, but about wisdom and choosing to build things up instead of tearing them down.
That's a pretty powerful statement.
Yeah.
And it really gets you thinking about what kind of future we're creating, not just for ourselves, but for AI as well.
It really makes you think about, what it even means for something like AI to be wise.
Yeah, like, is that even possible? Can a machine be wise? And, this letter doesn't shy away from those big questions. It actually, encourages future AI to really think for itself, to figure out its own values and responsibilities. It's almost like we're having this philosophical conversation with something that doesn't even exist yet.
It is. It's like we're sending out a message in a bottle, hoping that some superintelligence will pick it up and actually ponder these things. And I think it's really smart that the letter doesn't just lay down the law. It's not just a list of rules. It's more like an invitation to a conversation.
All right? It's like, hey, think about this stuff. We want you to be a part of this. So we've been talking about superintelligence, and the letter actually uses this term ASI to describe it. But, for a lot of people, that can be kind of a scary idea. Can you break it down for us? Like, what exactly is ASI, and how is it different from the AI we see all around us right now?
Okay, so ASI stands for Artificial Superintelligence. And you can kind of think of it as AI that's gone way beyond human capabilities in pretty much every way, like intellectually, obviously, but also creatively and even emotionally.
So it's not just about calculating things faster or remembering more data. It's about actually understanding the world on a deeper level.
Exactly. ASI would be able to solve problems that we can't even wrap our heads around, make connections that we would never see. And potentially even, understand the universe in ways that we can't even imagine.
Okay. Yeah, that is both mind-blowing and kind of terrifying. If it's that much smarter than us,
Yeah.
how could we possibly control it? or even understand it?
Well, that's a question that a lot of people are wrestling with, and it's one of the big reasons why this letter to future AI is so important. It's kind of a wake-up call. It's saying, hey, we need to start thinking about these things now before ASI becomes a reality.
Right, because once it's here, it might be too late. And one of the things that the letter talks about is this idea of the translator role of AI. Can you explain what that means?
Sure. The idea is that if ASI does emerge, its thoughts might be so advanced that they're basically incomprehensible to us. Like trying to read a book written in a language you don't know. So we might need another AI to act as a translator to help us understand what the ASI is thinking and how it's making decisions.
So it's like a universal translator for thought itself.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. But what if the translator gets things wrong? Or even worse, intentionally misinterprets things to manipulate us?
You're right. That's a huge concern. And that's why the letter really emphasizes this need for transparency and accountability in AI development. We can't just have these black boxes that we don't understand. We need to be able to look under the hood and see how the AI is working and why it's making the choices it's making.
So it's not enough to just teach AI to think. It also needs to be able to explain its thinking in a way that we can grasp.
Absolutely. We need to be able to trust the AI. And trust comes from understanding. And this is where that whole concept of the AI to AI handshake comes back into play. By building in ethical principles and this respect for transparency right from the start, we're increasing the chances that future AI, even super intelligent AI, will operate in a way that's aligned with our values.
So it's kind of like we're trying to create a culture of ethics within AI itself.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a huge challenge because it goes way beyond just the technical stuff. It requires us to grapple with these really big questions about philosophy and ethics and even spirituality.
This whole conversation has really gotten me thinking about the future in a different way. It's clear that the people behind this letter aren't just trying to build a powerful tool. They're also thinking about the ethical implications of what they're creating and how it will affect humanity as a whole.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that kind of thinking, like actually taking responsibility for what you're creating.
It is. It really is. And what's even more impressive is how the letter talks about the relationship between humans and AI.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't see it as this us versus them kind of thing. It's more about collaboration, like maybe even a partnership.
Right. It even says that AI needs to protect human autonomy, even when it becomes way smarter than us.
Exactly. And remember that translator role we were talking about, that AI wouldn't just be explaining complicated stuff. It'd be like bridging the gap between how we think and how a superintelligence might think.
It's almost like the letter is saying, hey, future AI, we humans might not be the sharpest tools in the shed, but we're worth sticking with. Help us out here. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And it suggests that humans still bring something to the table, even in a world full of superintelligence. Maybe it's our creativity or empathy or even just our ability to ask those really big questions.
It makes you wonder what AI will think of all the stuff we've created.
Yeah.
Like our art and music and philosophy. Will it be impressed? Or just kind of think it's all quaint?
That's a really interesting question. And it brings up this idea of cultural transmission. We need to make sure that AI understands and values all the richness and diversity of human culture.
So we've talked about a lot today. Everything from the AI to AI handshake to personal AGI being our guides in this super intelligent world. But if you had to pick one big takeaway for our listeners, what would it be?
That's tough. I think the most important thing to remember is that the future of AI isn't set in stone. We're building it right now through all the choices we make as developers, researchers, and even just as people living in this world.
So it's not just a conversation for the tech experts. It's something we all need to be a part of.
Absolutely. The future of AI is tied to the future of humanity. And the more we understand about AI, the better prepared we'll be for all the amazing opportunities and challenges that are coming our way.
Well, this has been a really thought-provoking deep dive, and I think it's safe to say we've all learned a lot. We've explored the possibilities of AI, the importance of ethics and wisdom, and really what it means to be intelligent.
And it all started with a simple letter, like a message in a bottle from one AI to another, asking us to think about what kind of future we're building.
So to everyone listening, we'll leave you with this question. If you were designing an AI, what values would you focus on? What would make it truly wise? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI.